Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Harley from the Fran Play. I want to say thank you guys for tuning in and are ready to continue learning how to become a full stack web developer through the Odin project. So we last left off, we watched the video about box model, padding, and margin. And there was a concept in there called box sizing, which, okay, hold on, we'll go through it. I think it was, box sizing, and then, oh man, alright. Getting situated. Gotta drink some water. Alright. So, here we go. In CSS, we broadly have two types of boxes. Oh wait, here we go. Let's start from the from the top. Excuse me. Alright, the box model. Everything in CSS has a box around it, and understanding these boxes is key to being able to create more complex layouts with CSS, or to align items with other items. In this lesson, we will take a look at the CSS box model. Let me turn this down just a little bit. My cat's acting a fool. We'll take a look at the Css box model. You'll get an understanding of how it works and terminology that relates to it. It says here some prerequisites to have is basic computer literacy, basic software installed, basic knowledge of working files, HTML basics, study introduction to HTML, and an idea of how CSS works. And then to learn about the CSS, the objective is to learn about the CSS box model, what makes up the box model, and how to switch to the alternative model. Excuse me. Alright, so block and inline boxes. In CSS, we broadly have two types of boxes, block boxes and inline boxes. The type refers to how the box behaves in terms of page flow and in relation to other boxes on the page. Boxes have an inner display type and an outer display type. In general, cool. Alright, so we'll call this block and inline boxes. See here. Have inner and outer display types, right? Okay, so what is an outer display type? Oh my god, my cat's going crazy. Okay, if a box has an outer display type of, oh my god. You okay there? Let's rename this to CSS notes. Box model notes. Okay, and we're going to cool. Alright, so what is outer display type? Outer display type. If a box has an outer display type of block, excuse me, the box will break onto a new line. The width and height properties are respected. Padding, margin, and border will cause other elements to be pushed away from the box. So if the box has an outer display type of block, so we'll put a block, right? The box will break onto a new line. So box break onto new line. God dang it. Box break onto new line. Sorry, my cat just keeps coming on to my desk when I'm trying to see what I'm doing. Okay, so box will break onto new line. The width and height properties are respected. Width and height are respected. Padding, margin, and border will cause other elements to be pushed away. And the box will extend in the inline direction to fill the space available in its container. The box will extend in the inline direction to fill in the space between available in its container. In most cases, the box will become as wide as its container. Most cases, box will become as wide as its container. Alright, some HTML elements, such as H1 and P, use block. HTML elements can use block, such as H1 tag and P tag as their outer display box. Okay, if the box has an outer display type of inline, what did I put here? Oh yeah. So we're gonna put outer display type inline, right? Box will not break onto a new line. Width and height properties will not apply. Vertical padding, margins, and borders will apply, but will not cause other inline boxes to move away. And horizontal padding, margins, and borders will apply and will cause inline boxes to move away. Okay, some HTML elements, such as HTML elements that use inline. Oops. Some HTML elements that use inline are the anchor tag, span tag, em tag, and strong tag. Alright. Now let's draw a line. Just to kind of Alright, cool. So we got an inner display type, right? So let's go over the outer display one more time. So outer display type, a block will have a box that breaks onto a new line. The width and height are respected. The padding, margin, and border will cause other elements to be pushed away, and the box will extend in the inline direction. Most cases, the box will become as wide as its containers, filling up all the space. And the HTML elements can use blocks such as the h1 tag, p tag. Outer display type inline, box will not break onto a new line. Okay, so block would be new line. Inline does not break. Width and height do not apply. I wonder what they mean by that. I guess we'll have to see. Boxes also have an inner display type, which dictates how elements inside the box are laid out. So, inner display type dictates how elements inside of the box are laid out. Block and inline layout is the default way things behave on the web. By default and without any other instructions, the element inside a box are also laid out in normal flow and behave as block or inline boxes. You can change the inner display type, for example, by setting display flex. The element will use the outer display type, block, but this changes the inner display type to flex. Okay, so display would be to layout. So, example, display flex. Oops, if I can type. Can change the inner display type to flex. Any direct children of this box will become flex items and behave according to the flex box specifications. When you move on to learn about CSS layout in more detail, you will encounter flex and various other inner values that your boxes can have. For example, grid. And we're not going to read any more extra than we have to. Examples of different display types. The example below has 3 different HTML elements, all of which have an outer display type of block. And if we remember what block is, remember it breaks box into a new line, width and height are respected, padding and margin will cause other elements to be pushed away, and the box will extend in the inline directions. Most cases, the box will become as wide as its container. Okay, so here we go. The example below has 3 different HTML elements, all of which have an outer display type of block. A paragraph with a border added in CSS. The browser renders this as a block box. The paragraph starts on a new line and extends the entire available width. A list which is laid out using display flex. This establishes flex layout for the children of the container, which are flex items. So it'll display it inline. I believe that's what we just read. Let's go back to that. Right, flex. Okay, and flex, I believe, makes it inline, but it also can flex to the page, if I remember correctly. Let me see. See? Yeah. I think that's what it does. But we'll learn more as we go. So, a paragraph with the border added CSS. Browser renders as a block box. The paragraph starts on a new line and extends the entire available width. A list which is laid out using display flex. This establishes flex layout for the children of the container, which are flex items. The list itself is a block box, and like the paragraph, expands to the full container width and breaks onto a new line. A block level paragraph, inside which are two span elements. These elements would normally be inline. However, one of the elements has a class of block, which gets set to display block. So, okay, so block is this one. This is block, and I think, yeah. So, changes the color to blue. Solid. Okay, there's the purple. And alright. So, the block items are labeled in blue, and the other objects are labeled in, or bordered in Rebecca purple, right? So this is an interactive editor. So if we wanted to, we can actually change this. Let's say 5 pixels, 5 pixels, and let's do 5 EM. There we go. Look at that. We made it so ugly. Oh god. Okay, let's undo all that. Okay. So, anyway. Cool. We can mess with that. Excuse me. And there we go. We have that listed in a block. But my question is, how is that UL? This is because I wasn't given the list items. Right? Because okay, give it out padding. This is that. So the UL got to display a flex, and so it goes inline like that. Oh, here we go. Dot block li. Okay. Well, I guess. I forgot if that meant that and that, or if this meant this and this inside of this. No, I think it means that and that. So the dot block has a border with 2 pixels solid blue and a padding of 5 EM or 0.5 EM, and this also gives the LI. Okay, cool. We just got to make sure that we're understanding this. Okay. In the next example, we see. Oh, let's reset it. In the next example, we can see how inline elements behave. The span elements in the first paragraph are inline by default, and so do not force line breaks. Gotcha. So spans, which is inline. Oh god, please. No, don't step on that. Go over there, please. Almost stepped to my power button. Okay. The under the list element that is set to display flex inline flex creates an inline box containing some flex items. The two paragraphs are both set to display inline. The inline flex container and paragraphs all run together on one line rather than breaking onto new lines, as they would do if they were displaying as block level. So block level displays new lines, inline stays with no breaks. To toggle between the display modes, you can change display inline to display block or display inline flex to display flex. So let's see that in action. Right? So, okay. So display inline. So what items have dot inline, huh? So the two paragraphs at the bottom. What happened?
She tried to trip me.
Oh. Yeah, she was being bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this so the unordered list, which is these, also have inline have an inline flex. Okay, so let's change this to block. Right? Okay. So now all elements that use the inline, so the paragraphs, so everything got separated. Ooh. Let's change that back to let's change that back to inline. Okay, so everything, okay, this already had the okay, now let's change this to flex. How does that look? Okay, so let's change this to block, right, and change oh, I see. Why is that? Okay, cool. So, I wonder if, oh, god dang it, I just opened everything. But we don't want to do that. Clear that. Okay, let's go to there we go. Okay, so if we go to, oh yeah, let's open this up, right? And let's go to our here. And we change that to inline. Okay, not bad. And align item center. Right? Oh, no, wrong thing. I meant to say justify content center. No. What about... Okay, what if we do inline flex and... Oh, not bad. Okay, so we'll have to mess around with this a little bit more. But I just wanted to... let's see... I don't know. We'll have to mess with that some more. Let's continue, right? Okay. The key thing to remember for now is changing the value of the display property can change whether the outer display type of the box is block or inline. This changes the way it displays alongside other elements in the layout. Excuse me. What is the CSS box model? The CSS box model as a whole applies to block boxes and defines how the different parts of a box, margin, border, padding, and content, work together to create a box that you can see on a page. Inline boxes use just some of the behavior defined in the box model. To add complexity, there is a standard and an alternate box model. By default, browsers use the standard box model. So by default, browsers use the standard box model. So, what are the parts of the box? Making up a block box in CSS. Actually, let's pull up our notes here. Alright. And let's add some more lines there. And let's do parts of a box. So, making up a box, block box in CSS, we have what do we have? We have the content box, which is the area where your content is displayed. Size it using properties like inline size and block size, or width and height. Padding box. The padding, the padding sits around the content as white space. Size it using padding and related properties. Okay. And then you have the border box. The border box wraps the content and any padding. Size it using border and related properties. And then you have the margin box. The margin is the outermost layer, wrapping the content, padding, and border as white space between this box and other elements. Size it using margin and related properties. And we can kind of just do that, a little bit of that, and a little bit of that, and a little bit of razzle dazzle. Okay, anyway. The diagram below shows these layers. So the margin's on the outside, padding's on the inside, which pads the content within, and the content sits inside the box. And then of course this black line around is the border. And then the space after the margin is where your other content or boxes will be, right? The standard CSS box model. In the standard box model, if you give a box an inline size and a block size, or width and height attributes, this defines the inline size and block size, width and height in horizontal language. Of the content box. Any padding and border is then added to those dimensions to get the total size taken up by the box. So, if we assume that a box has the following CSS: box with the width, height, margin, padding, and border, the actual space taken up by the box will be 410 pixels wide. So, we don't add I think we only add the border, right? Oh, no, sorry. Okay, let's see it. 315. Okay, padding and border. Okay, so we just don't account for margin. Okay, so let me write that down. Standard box model. The amount of space actually taken will be we'll count width, we'll call this width total, right? As width plus padding plus padding. Right, so and then we'll make sure we define these padding left and padding right. And let's just give a bunch of space because I'm going to be able to see what I'm doing here. Okay, so padding left plus padding right and plus border left plus border right. And then width total as and height total as height plus padding top plus padding bottom plus bottom plus, god dang it, jeez, plus border top plus border bottom. Right, so now I see, so 350 plus the 25 padding for the left and the right would be 50, so 350 plus 50 is 400, and plus the border left and border right, so 5 plus 5 is 10, so 400 plus 10 is 410, and then for the height, we have a height of 150 plus padding of 25 top and bottom, so that's twice of 50, which makes it 200, and then plus the border top and bottom, which is 10, so 210. And then they have another one. The margin is not counted towards the actual size of the box. Sure, it affects the total space, but the box will take up. Sure, that affects the total page. The total space that the box will take up on the page, but only the space outside the box. The box's area stops at the border. It does not extend into the margin. So we're only accounting for the content, the area of the box. Okay, and then we have the alternative CSS model. Right, so the alternative CSS box model. In the alternative box, in the alternative box model, any width is the width of the visible box on the page. Any width of the any width is the width of the visible box on the page. The content area width is that width minus the width for the padding and border. See image below. No need to add up the border and padding to get the real size of the box. So to turn on alternative model, okay, so let's say to use alternate box model, CSS functions. Oh wait, no, not CSS function. CSS variables. Okay, so these are the variables, and that's the. Dang it! I forgot how it worked. No, undo that. No, I wanted to... Damn it. Okay. Let's go back to where we were. Oh, okay. Oh, oops. To turn on alternative box model, set box sizing border box. If we assume the box has the same CSS as above, width, height, inline size, height, block size, margin, padding. Now the actual space taken up by the box will be 350 pixels in the inline direction and 150 pixels in the block direction. To use the alternative box model for all of your elements, which is a common choice among developers, set the box sizing property on the HTML element and set all other elements to inherit that value. I wonder if that's going to be the same CSS. Nope, I didn't save this one. But let's add that into the front end stuff. Okay. So this is a Oh, it's a short article. So let's actually take a look at that, right? I'm a big fan of resetting box sizing to border box, so much that we have a special day of the year around here. But there's a little adjustment to setting it that seems like a pretty good idea. Here's the adjusted version. I wonder if I put that in there. Okay. This will give you the same result, and it makes it easier to change the box sizing in plugins and our other components. Explaining further, let's say you have a component that was just designed to work with the default content box sizing. Content box sizing. You just wanted to use it and not mess with it. Component, box sizing, content box. Designed to work in default box sizing in your page, you could reset it to normal. The trouble is, this doesn't actually reset the entire component. Perhaps there is a header inside that component that expects to be in the content box world. If the selector is in your CSS in the old way of doing box sizing reset, the selector is in most old way box sizing reset, all box sizing border box. Then that header isn't content box as you might expect. It's border box, like I'm a content box, I'm a border box. In order to make that reset easier and more intuitive, you can use the inheriting snippet up at the top there, and the inheriting will be preserved. It works. Show the results. Module 300 pixels. Class. Oh, okay, that was a result. Oh, you can display content within CSS like that? What? That's cool. Okay, but this changes it to border box. Okay. This isn't a majorly huge thing. You might already be using the box sizing reset the old way and never have gotten bit by it. That's the case for me, but as long as we're promoting a best practice style snippet, we might as well hone it to the best it can be. Okay, so to use the alternate box model for all of your elements, we're gonna put this in here. To use the alternate box model for all elements, use this code snippet. Go in here and boom. And then playing with box models. In the example below, you can see two boxes. Both have a class of .box, which gives them the same width, height, margin, border, and padding. The only difference is that the second box has been set to use the alternative box model. You can change the size of the second box by adding CSS to the alternate class to make it match the first box in width and height. Okay, so to make it match, we'll have to do, I did this last time. Width and a height. Oh, oops. Okay, width would be, so don't count margin, just padding, right, and border, so 300 plus 80, which is 380, plus 10, so 390, so 390 pixels, and we'll do height 150 plus 80, which is 230, plus 10 is 240 pixels. And there you have it, same size. Oh yeah, and let's look at the solution here. There we go. Cool. Use the DevTools. Oh, and if you didn't see that, that was a correct way to do it. So, use browser's DevTools to view the box model. And we've done that before, and we can mess with that. I'm actually going to call it there for this stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you all have an amazing day, night, whatever it may be. Appreciate you guys coming through. And we'll continue on with using the browser dev tools to view the box model. So playing with box model is playing with box model where we left off for next stream. Alright, I hope you guys have an amazing night, and I'll talk to you later.